Nice to meet you all. Thank you for being here. Let me introduce myself. I am Filippo Chiricozzi. I'm from Italy. I'm working for a bank called Banca Sella, and I'm the stream manager in the innovation area, leading the Web3, crypto, and metaverse area of the bank itself. So let's make a step back. Of course, we all know what are NFTs. I won't focus on what are NFTs. We know what are NFTs. But back in the days when it was 2020, I actually met them for the very first time. It was actually, fun fact, on Dapper, because it was NBA Top Shot. When I met for the very first time and actually purchased the very first one, tradable NFTs, I realized that actually, rather than being collectibles, rather than being digital assets, they were actually an actual representation of ourselves on the blockchain. So they were actually the traits of ourselves within a blockchain, within a specific wallet. So given the fact, for example, I'm collecting art, of course, I can be a long-term holder, someone that is not looking for fast profit, but for long-term opportunities, invest in new art. Or either, of course, if I'm a flipper, changing or at least selling every day NFTs, of course, I can be a trader. So this somehow made me realize that before the speculation, there was something more. There was digital identity. I stumbled into digital identity. Actually, another fun fact, last year I was in NFT London. I was speaking over there, and I met a long-time friend of mine, and we actually realized that we were both working in Italy for two completely different areas. He was building the digital identity for a very, I would say, institutional provider, while I was actually building the Web3 for a bank, so for something very centralized. But moving forward, another thing that happened to my mind is that digital identity is actually the representation of ourselves, of course, online. But if we make a parallel with metaverse, so each one of us, of course, we stumble into metaverse probably every day, it helps us realize another important thing. As of now, on the metaverse, on the Web3 metaverse, there are not that much users, unfortunately. But on the Web2 metaverse, so things like Roblox, for example, they have a huge amount of people that, as of now, don't need, of course, a bank account, don't have a bank account, don't need anything in terms of banking, but probably in a time span of 6 to 8 years will need a bank account. And the amount of people that are actually, our youngsters that are actually right now into metaverse are around 420 million, more or less. Of course, they are 16, 15, 16 years old. Probably at a certain point, they will need to jump into this space. So it made me realize one more thing. If we talk about digital identity, if we know that actually NFTs can be traits of our wallets and our representation can define ourselves within the digital space, probably we can do a step, we can move forward in doing something as, of course, a centralized institution, so as a bank, in make sure to attract these users and retain them. We have I think 230 million wallet on Ethereum, something like that, more or less, but we have probably a little bit more than 500,000 NFTs collected from this wallet itself. So, of course, this is not adoption. This is not like the adoption that we expect from NFTs. But the good thing is that one more thing, so getting back to the banking industry, one more thing that we are able to is, of course, not only create value for the users that are already within the banking industry, but even create something more for the ones that will come in the future. So for the users that they will actually are maybe as of now into the metaverse, like in metaverses like Web2 metaverse, as I say, that's Roblox or Sandbox or whatever else, and try to attract them and retain them on the long run. So what are we doing? So getting back to the banking stuff, what are we focusing as of now? Of course, it's the previous speech was talking about securities, was talking about NFTs and their utilities. It's always tricky, especially for a bank when you have to go to a regulatory or compliant regulator and interact with them to see how can I create NFTs for my customers. But the good thing is that you can create, of course, NFTs that are digital representation of themselves within a digital space, a digital community. So the first thing that we say is like, do we have customers? Yes, of course. In our case, we have almost 500,000 of customers only focusing the Italian market. How can we help them? First of all, understand the blockchain. How can we create a community for them? So we started building a community from the ground on, not focusing on the outside, but moreover focusing on the inside. And what I mean, we decided to focus. The very first thing that we did is like doing education, important education on our own colleagues. Banca Sella, it's like a 150 years old bank. So actually, it's a private bank, one of the very few private banks. It's a family bank. You can imagine that the 5,000, 6,000 people that are working within are not that familiar, I would say, with blockchain, with NFTs, with Web3. We realized that education was a very paramount, a very important thing, one of the most important that we did. And we started educating people. And actually, from the ground on, we started as 5 people. And now we can actually say that at least we have onboarded at least the first 1,000 people within the company by doing activation, gradual activation, not just like moving them straight away into Discord, straight away into a Telegram group, but just doing activities on the tools that they use on an everyday basis. So Microsoft Teams, so Outlook, so all the things that you can imagine with very short pills or video recorded or audio recorded that could help them move forward. But at the same time, we didn't focus only internally, we decided to focus even externally. So we said, how can we use NFTs for our customers? What we are building as of now is like using the technology, not of course the hype, the technology itself, NFTs, to tokenize invoices. So the most simple way is like we can tokenize invoices and doing something that is called credit factoring. So actually anticipating a specific amount for an invoice as a bank to other customers. We use NFTs. People don't know that we're using NFTs, but we actually we expect actually to reduce the internal operation by 80% simply introducing NFT as smart contract on a specific chains. So you can see that we can see that even in a, I would say, historical, long-term, very centralized environment as the banking one, it's possible actually to use the blockchain not only to scale external operations, so to actually improve the way, the life, I would say, of users, of customers, but moreover even to create something internally. To do so, of course, I'm really bullish on the fact that we have to use scalable solutions, so everything that actually reduce the transaction fees and reduce even the adoption for the customers. That's why we started actually using scaling technology, especially on the Ethereum blockchain. And yeah, that's it. So my take on this is like, the blockchain actually helps us, the NFTs actually are helping us in creating digital identities and helping people to spread, I would say, the knowledge, understand the knowledge of the blockchain in the most, I would say, easy way. Thank you so much. It's been actually quite fast. I hope I create some value. And if you have any question, feel free to ask me. Thank you.